protests against the regime of Aleksandr Lukashenko in Belarus. And in solidarity with the Belarusian struggle for freedom and democracy, a few of my colleagues and I will perform a reading of Insulted Belarusia, a new play by Andrei Kureichik, which he wrote during the first month of protests. This reading is part of a global effort to bring attention to the current political situation in Belarus through public readings of this play. And as of yesterday, I think there are 56, maybe 57 events scheduled across 16 countries, and we're honored to participate in this worldwide project. We thank you for joining us today, for finding time and for making time for this symbolic gesture of support of a small nation. The playwright Andrei Kureichik and the translator John Freedman will be joining us tonight, so we hope you'll stay with us for a discussion after the reading. I'll let the play speak for itself. I will just note one thing before we begin. It does contain strong language and descriptions of violence. Thank you for being here. Here is Insulted Belarusia by Andrei Kureichik.
I hate theater. Never been attracted. It's a bunch of crap, bullshit. You see it, what good is it? What is it, entertainment? Full-grown adults mucking around, baring their bare butts, laughing at something. Hee hee ha ha. What smart person is going to act like that? It's all fake, stupid, goofing off. Look at those foreheads. Those huge arms and legs. You could plow a field with those. Put somebody like that on a tractor, he'll plow a good 10 hectares for you in one day, maybe more. And these women, you should have babies, make borscht. The state will support you. That's being useful. But what good comes of some painted up guy wiggling his ass on the stage? They're all vermin. What can I say? Vermin, scum of the earth, traitors. They feed out of my hand, then bite the hand that feeds them. I fed them all with my left tit, and they, traitors. That's why there's no theaters in villages. Villagers won't put up with that crap. Peasants, they're of the earth. They're pure. You can't fool them. Villages don't have any picture galleries either, because look how pretty it is out the window. You don't need pictures for that. Anyway, how can you call those things pictures? A kid could do that. Chagall, schmagall, $30 million, 40, give him 100. A kid could still do it. We had apple trees out our window, and then a meadow where the kolkhoz horses grazed. Now there's a noble animal. I don't even know why, but I've been attracted to horses my whole life. They're quiet, and they obey. They work until they drop, never ask for anything. Sure, mares can be a bit feisty, but you just give her a little crack on the head, and she'll calm right down. Then put blinders on her, and you can run her into fire or water. She's loyal, like a country should be. Workhorses, loyal. She'll eat from your hand, won't even lift an eye. Sometimes I even have dreams. Horses would make a good country. We'd find common ground, a few oats, a few whacks, and she'd work for me and love me.
You can change everything, literally everything. You just need to want it, and you can change everything for the better. That's my motto and my message. Let's say it's my epistle. Zing, 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 my message to the universe. I love sending messages to the universe because the universe answers. It's so cool. Lena, are you searching for cheerful positivity? Here you are, Lena. Here's all the positivity you could want. I'm from Grodno. Grodno is like the west of Belarus. It's kind of like Belarusian Europe. There were Poles here before the war. Our city used to be really pretty, but pretty old. Everything was Soviet and falling down. Now even Poles come and are knocked out by our city. We wanted it, so we did it. Or take manicures. I used to shy away from bright manicures. I only did pearl. But then I just went ahead and did it. Red, white, red. A really pretty combination. Red, white, red. Very fashionable. That's our national flag. That was my wedding manicure, by the way. You thought it was mine? No, I'm still freelancing. I'm accepting offers. Casting. Just kidding. It was my sister's wedding, Maria. It's okay for her. She's already 21, a very formidable lady. I'm so happy for her. Universe, you love us. It was planned for August 9th, a Sunday, just a super day. Her guy is really cool, from Ukraine. Super tall, an athlete, runs every day, and he's very good looking, of course. I was kind of jealous. Ukrainians are so hot. Lviv is like my hometown. I love everything about it. The Java and the chocolate. I'm not even afraid to go to the super trendy cafes in town. If only the whole world was like Lviv. For the wedding, I asked to be let off as an observer in the 9th voting precinct. I made a deal with another girl and she replaced me. They don't let us inside anyway because of coronavirus. They said no observers allowed. Anybody else, sure, but no observers. Super weird. It's really funny. All the windows are normal, just the ones for the voting commission are taped up. If they had we just stood outside and counted how many people went in with their white bracelets. That's the sign of change. So far, nothing adds up. We saw 30 people go in there, but they said there were 126. That's just stupid, a mistake. How can you fake things like that?
10 wins it. Mate's champion. All the cities know it. Every house. All us hooligan fanatics will put fear in you. What are you grinning at, sucker? Want a kick in the ass? My bad. Overdid that. The game's over. Well played all around. A real bonus for us good black shirts. See this nose? Busted twice. And this scar here is from a Dynamo crowd whacking me with a flagpole. 13 stitches. Blood was everywhere. You could see us, you should have seen us drink with them after. Bros, you guys are hardcore. I love you all, but you gotta respect your opponent. You wanna fight? Fight, but fight fair. Don't hit kids and leave the girls alone. Don't gang up 2 and 3 on 1, and don't call the cops. And the main thing, if you take one in the chops, don't bitch about it later. Beyond that, wail away to your heart's content. Not like the mustache guy. I got no problems with someone showing off he's strong. But fight fair, asshole. Your fat face is always smeared all over the TV screen. And you're always making all your flunkies sing praises in your ear. Let somebody else have a chance. Then toss all the votes on the table. Here, all you freaks and Freemasons, count how many voted for me. Count them and shut up. I answer for every vote. But no, this rat comes slinking at you under the table, stabs you in the back. Anybody who is against him, anyone who raised his head, they all get prison terms. Everybody laughs. In 26 years, not one single honest person ever opposed him. Nothing but thugs, thieves, and criminals. I'm fucking sick of them. I'm fucking sick, I tell you. 26 years, that's how long I've been alive, to the day. I've loved soccer my whole life, just as long as I have absolutely hated that bastard.
I used to binge play Counter-Strike. Well, maybe not binge. I wasn't supposed to play for long, but I'd hide my laptop under my blanket and play. Later, I stopped doing that. Counter-Strike, I mean. Later, I got hooked on Dota. Counter-Strike. Then Dad made them take my laptop away. Shit. The last fucking dictator in Europe. All the kids played. It's no big deal. But that's how he is. You want to be like them? Like these guys? What's got in your head? Fuck, Dad. But everybody else can play. And then he starts up that same old tune. Young people were the real thing back in the old days. The Young Communist League, the student construction brigades, how they just loved marching lockstep, how they defended villages in Afghanistan, how he milked cows and drank steaming hot fresh milk. I can't stand that milk. It smells like a wet dog. I get instant diarrhea. These stories of his, I can't stand him anymore. About the Soviet Union. I never lived a day there. I'm only 16. There was nothing interesting about it. There wasn't any internet, no smartphones, no tablets. There weren't even any decent movies. They did nothing but milk cows and binge drink vodka. I still play on a computer though. I got a laptop from Vasia that I play on the sly to spite him. Vasia is my only friend. He'll be 32 soon. He can put out a rabbit's eye with a knife at a distance of 10 yards. It's very cool, my bodyguard. Not even Sleepy knows about that. Sleepy is Larisa Nikolaevna. She makes sure I don't quit my schoolwork. She takes me to school and picks me up. She's nasty, and she's an informer, sticks her nose everywhere. I know she checks my phone and tells Dad everything. Have to show my homework before I take it to school. She's the one who tells teachers what grades I get. A fine teacher. Sleepy Larisa. I heard them talking once. Dad says he needs a woman around all the time. Like I miss my mother. You need to be his mother in some things, Larisa. How can somebody else be my mother? Sometimes I wonder, do I love him? I mean, I'm his son. It's my duty to love him. My duty. Everyone's bound in duty to him.
She's not a great lay. I mean, she tries, she squeals and thrusts, but it's not much. Now, the broads we had in Luhansk, they suck you dry. You come out soaking wet like out of a bathhouse. I'd have to cool it off with ice. They had lips like bike tires like this. There was this Masha from Belarus. They're a little more reserved. Like you're a little beholden to them, but she was pretty. White teeth, kept herself neat. You can count on me. Everything's in working order. No. There was a time when things were dicey. I'd get it up and then I couldn't. In training, we had this doctor that was here already. He said it was nerves, but that was pretty obvious. 2014 was a nervy year, a whole mix of things. I thought I was done for. 10 years or more eating slop out of an aluminum bowl. For what? For defending the foundations of the state, for anti-fascist activity. Thank God, in little groups, slipping through their fingers, the whole crew, to put it elegantly, got the fuck out of there. We had one hot platoon, beasts, Lyocha, Mushroom, Greenie, Pepper, Nitska. Some of them ended up in Kemerovo, some in Vladikavkaz, a couple officers even made it to Moscow. Some of us ended up here, in Soviet Belarusia. Europe, they have casinos here. It's clean, the pay is good. The girls, the place has an ideology. You know, just what's good and what's bad. It's black and white, as it should be. It's got its drawbacks. I already said about the girls. That was no time to schedule a wedding, August 9th. I took leave, but my heart felt it. There would be hell to pay. My guts were churning. Then, fuck it all. I lost my heart on. The only other time that happened was in 2014, in Kiev. Everybody then was strutting around, talking tough. They were on their way out now. The Banderites were done for, washed up. We'll pick them off one by one. Backup was already flying in from Moscow, 10 platoons. Old Putin wasn't going to abandon his old friend Yanukovych. But I had a feeling the hammer was coming down, a different hell to pay. And now here again, not good. And I still have that fucking wedding night ahead of me.
You need a lot of fat for good tasty meat patties. Because if you use red meat, they'll be dry. Here's what I do. I take ground beef and ground pork, and I always add a chunk of pork fat. Let's say half a pound or so, or it can be lard. You can put it all through the meat grinder. Add onions, garlic, and spices, or you can use onion powder. Or, well, I haven't done it in a long time. Seryozha always loved my meat patties. He could eat 10. That's right, 10 at once. The kids could too. Sergei, sometimes he comes home from business trips really angry. He films everything he sees. All the dirt, the confusion, the pain of being with people. As a blogger, people always tell him the straight truth. As it is, and he says to me, "How is this possible? This country is filled with lies. Everybody lies and lies and lies. The TV says one thing, but life is completely different." Then I serve him a plate of meat patties to get his mind off things. I often ask myself these days, I'll sit in front of the mirror and turn off my phone so people don't bug me. Otherwise, BBC, CNN, theirs, ours, and other channels all harass me all the time. I comb my hair. It seems like forever. And I have just one question in my head. What will people do for love? In the past, I would have said anything. And now I just don't think so. Not anything. Die? Sometimes that might even be the easiest thing to do. You die, you're gone. No more choices. The sacrifice is made. You gave your life. You fulfilled your mission. But what if you want to live? But live for whom? For him? For yourself? For your country? The kids often ask when dad will get out, "Mom, you're president now. Why don't you let him out?" What am I supposed to answer? I am president, and I have nothing. I'm in control of nothing, myself included.
I have 37 years of service behind me. 37 years. I have 5 certified awards from the Department of Education with gold seals, signed by 4 different ministers. One even sent my nomination for Teacher of the Year to the president, but something got hung up. It's all right. I don't lose faith because I know the president is thinking about us, always. The president remembers all of us, the teachers, the milkmaids, and the pensioners, everybody. Can you imagine the head he must have to remember everyone like that? What a head. Whenever I think about his head, I grab my own head in my hands. I tell my students, why do you all hang out in these gadgets and Minecrafts of yours? That man is always thinking. He's always solving some problem. Nothing gets past him. So all you ingrates can live a better life. So there's stability. He gives you textbooks. He pays our salaries, gives us work. Look at the buildings he built, the flowers he planted. He put a Sputnik into space, everything, so you can study. And you have no conscience. But then he went and scheduled elections this summer. Why did he do that? It's vacation time. Everyone's at the dacha. Tomatoes, watermelons, the dacha. And the whole weight of it was on us teachers. I don't support that. It would have been better to cancel them altogether. What a pain these elections are. Look at who they bring us. Trump, Poroshenko, Yeltsin, savages, all of them. Even without them, you know what the people want. The people always want one thing, stability. And what is stability? The boss, that's who. 26 years, that says it all. Every one of them stable. And may it stay that way. I have 4 more years till my pension starts. Our high school is a showcase among schools. The president's son even went here. Only I worry about the young teachers. What's in their heads? They fall for all that Western propaganda. How do we get the votes? I always tell them, whatever the country needs, that's what you do. Smarty pants, there are smarter ones above you. You want a job? Work. Go ahead and do your job as a teacher. But elections, though, that's our duty to stability. You'll save the government, and they'll give you bonuses. God willing, I was in charge of 5 elections at our school. I did everything that needed doing, precisely as the results were planned. And everybody got their bonus. I don't like these observers, though. What are you trying to observe? Huh? I have all the numbers up here in my head. You just jangle my nerves.
Where do I talk? The camera? Oh, okay. Whew. Wait. Hello. I am Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, candidate for the president. I am 37 years old. I was born in Polyesia. I graduated from the Philology Department of Mosaic Pedagogical University. I'm fluent in Belarusian, Russian, and English. I was never attracted to the idea of making a career. I always saw myself primarily as a wife and a mother, a homemaker, and that's what I do best. I was never interested in politics, and I'm perfectly happy with that. A year ago, my husband, Sergei Tikhanovsky, created a project he called A Country for Life, in conjunction with which he met people of all kinds of professions. They would tell him what worried them, what they were feeling, and what they thought about Belarus. People talked about their difficult lives and shared dreams about life in a free, prosperous country. What amazed me the most was that people who appeared on our blog channel were being thrown into prison. What was that about? Can we possibly make peace with such injustice? That is why, when my husband Sergei was not permitted to participate in the election, I chose to replace him and march all the way to victory. Did I stumble? No, I can't believe I'm saying this. All the way to victory. For myself, my husband, for all of us, our children. As a wife and a mother, I understand it's one for all and all for one in the family circle. I want it to be like that in our country too. They say a woman can't be president. That's not true. Nobody can stop a woman who's defending her family, just as no one can stop a nation that demands justice.
Wouldn't you know it? God fucking damn it. Bastards. I'm on duty the 9th and the 10th and the 11th. All leaves canceled, all vacations, the whole 9 yards. I tell my commander, I'm getting married. We've been planning it for 2 months. He says, are you an idiot? I don't give a shit if you die. That's no excuse to report for duty. Again, are you an idiot? He looks me right in the eye. Are you an idiot? I'm no idiot. I called Masha right away. The wedding is fucked, Masha, I say. Duty calls. Duty comes first, Masha. I called her on the phone on purpose so I wouldn't have to listen to her scream and yell at me to my face. About her relatives coming in from Lida, about the restaurant her mother already paid for, about, are you a man or not? You promised. Fuck me. If she doesn't understand the word duty to your country, then what can I say? I serve Belarus. I serve Lukashenko. He's my commander-in-chief. In other words, whatever he says, we do. Our deputy political officer is an excellent guy. His every word burns, bullseye. Death to the enemy. Poles, Ukrainians, Lithuanians, those are our enemies. The Russians aren't enemies, but they want to snap us up too, which means they're enemies in a way, but brothers too, but enemies too. That kind of thing happens. But first, with the Russians alongside us, we'll bury our primary enemies, those Western pricks, Yankees, and Maidan maniacs. We'll take care of the Ruskies afterward. The boss won't let them get away with anything, even if he becomes a Russian governor. Shit, Masha calling again. Hey. Oh, no. Quit crying. I know you're pregnant. So what? We just put it off a little. We'll push these guys back, make mincemeat of them. Yeah, I'll take care. You should see our outfits. 7 shipments from Moscow. The best stuff. Impressive. If it weren't for the damned heat, you're in body armor, a helmet, a face mask, and shin guards too. How about that? A day or two of that and we'll clean out the whole country. Impressive.
Dad? Daddy? What happened to the internet?
I'm doing an interview, Kolya. Dima Gardon is here from Ukraine. Pay no attention, Dmitry. You asked about my father, yes? I think I saw my father once when he came home to us. I remember he came home. I vaguely remember it. It's the only thing my memory preserves. He was a very, very tall man, well over 6.5 feet. The police put me on notice when I was in elementary school. We had this gang of school kids who used to turn over benches. But you don't care about that.
If you don't turn on the internet, I will not be president after you.
Jokester. Still a kid, what do you expect? He's the leader of the opposition in my house. I'll tell you something strange, Dima. Believe me, as an experienced president. You don't become a president. You're born a president.
Damn! Why did I have that manicure, the hairdo, and hot wax? Why did I buy that dress? 367 rubles. That's 2 stipend checks. The wedding's off. Roma has to work? Turns out Roma works for the riot police. Although he's Ukrainian. I thought he was just a policeman somewhere. You know, a street cop or a traffic cop. But he's some riot trooper. So what? Though they'll get married in the new Belarus. That's even better. Look at all those people out there in line with their white bracelets. Universe, we are the majority.
Our commission is tried and true. There's me and 2 vice principals, Kristalina Sergeyevna and Lydia Mikhailovna, the administrator Igor Nikolaevich, and the teachers from the lower classes. Okay, everybody, listen here. I'm giving instructions. Get this right. Here are the numbers to memorize. This is how the count will go. You take a ballot and show it to the person on your right. Lydia is on my right. I show it to her and put it in the pile. I know my pile must have 206 ballots, so I build it to 206. Now, Kristalina is supposed to have 1,361, which will be President Lukashenko's pile. Memorize the numbers for each candidate and put that precise number in the pile. Everything left over is declared null and void, defective, and that's that. Ms. Kasatonova, who cares where the numbers come from? The higher-ups already did the count. Your 30-something brains can't make things add up. Okay, here's what we memorize. Tikhanovskaya, 206. Don't write it down, just memorize it. 206. President Aleksandr Lukashenko, 1,361. Dmitriev, 52. Konopatska, God, I hate her face, 73. Gerashin, 39. Against all, 100. See how nice and even? 100 against everyone. You got that? Let me repeat it for the especially gifted among us.
I saw this film about zombies. These zombies took over the world, like here in Belarus. You take a magazine, as fat as you can get, and you wrap it around your arm and tape it. Now you've got an arm shield. Go ahead. Hit me with your truncheon. It's kind of awkward, but it provides protection. He won't give up easy. He doesn't give a shit if he wins or loses the elections. He won't give up power. He's got his teeth sunk into it. His teeth may be crumbling, but they still hang on. He's got nothing but power. His fingers are blue. His hands are shaking, but they hang on. He said he'd die before letting go, then turn power over to his son. Screw that shit. I don't know. Should I take my billy club or not? They might seem to me... Anyways, this revolution is supposed to be peaceful. People walking around with lanterns and flowers. They go around hugging the bastards, sing them songs. These girls are crazy. Those guys have truncheons, grenades, combat weapons, blood in their eyes. They're defending their Führer. They don't give a rat's ass about your flowers. All the guys from our hood are coming out today. All the fanatics. They're all on our side. We're going to defend our votes. Bate's champion. All the cities know it. Every house. All us hooligan fanatics will put fear in you.
All's good now. They sent in good backups. Very polite. I asked one, what's your name? He says, Renat. Last name? No. He smiles. I left my last name at home, he says. So where were you, Renat, when we were dodging the bullets of Banderite bandits during the Maidan? He laughs. White teeth. Don't worry, bro, he says. Breathe easy. This city will be ours tonight.
Masha, no, don't worry. I have great news. She won. I counted the bracelets, 1,412 beautiful, marvelous white bracelets. And we only have a few more than 2,000 people in our whole precinct. Do you realize what this means? Masha, she won in a landslide. We will have a new Belarus and a woman president. This is so cool.
What idiot posted a recording of our rehearsal on the internet? Look me in the eye. Svetlana, you? Katarina, did you do it? Kasatonova, you think this is a joke? These are state secrets. You were entrusted to look after the interest of the state. You were given that trust. And you? Look at what the people are writing right here in YouTube. Judases will throw you in prison, falsifiers. For 20 years, I was never a falsifier. And now, all of a sudden, a falsifier? You broke the law. I have 4 years left to my pension, and I am not leaving the position of president. Principal, and the president is right not to leave. You've got to hold your position to the end. You earned it with spilt blood. All these ballots, self-indulgence, and nothing more. Okay, put the numbers I gave you in the protocol. Hang them on the door and let everyone else go hang themselves. Riot police will get you all home.
What a pain this internet is. Damn, we never have any problems at the residence here. Damn, Dad, why would you cut off the internet everywhere? All the games I play are online. Dota's frozen, Tanks is frozen. Dad says it's his enemies doing it, that it's Merkel's hackers knocking us offline. Then I hear my brother give the command to knock out Telega with Chinese jammers. 100% down. I mean the Telegram app. My brother is like my father's right-hand man. Dad gave him the Security Council. He doesn't trust anybody else. He can't stand his servants. Says they're stupid and they screw everything up, but they're loyal. But you gotta keep on top of things. If you quit making things hard for them, they'll get comfy and eat you alive. Wants my brother to serve me when I'm president, like a grand vizier. I say, Dad, let's do it in order. First you, then Vitya, then me. For some reason, he got really angry.
Seryoja, do you hear me? Through the walls, my voice, can you hear me? Seryoja, Sergey, do you hear me? My love, we won. Seryoja.
I want this stopped, and I'm asking you to spare no one. I want order in my country by morning.
Wait, yeah, I have completely different numbers. None of this adds up. How can that be?
We are fucked.
I'm not going out there. I won't go out there. Look at that mob. They'll tear us apart. Banderites. What idiot put that video on the internet? Whoever posted this can go out there yourself. I'm not going.
Take this woman home, Renat. She's already shit herself from fear. She paints up the elections and she cries she's splashed with paint. Stuff happens. Now she's afraid of the voters.
Shame, shame, shame on you.
How could you write something like that when we all counted them? You saw it. It's a lie.
Thank you, residents of Minsk, for tolerating me for a quarter of a century, a man who came to you from the provinces. Thank you, Vladimir Putin, for your victory congratulations. After all, our homeland is one and the same, from Brest to Vladivostok.
Throw Lukashenko in a prison van. Throw Lukashenko in a prison van. Go, go, go away.
I'll answer that. Put away your telephone. I'm not going to hit you yet. We'll deal with all of you before long. We're not surrendering the country to you.
Let's grab this little lost sheep too. Stop, bitch! Stop! Lively little fuck, aren't you? Twist her arms. You want to resist? Hit her in the face!
I'm an election observer.
Observe this, cow! Shut your trap! Into the prison van!
I can't move that fast. I'm in heels.
Here comes the Dynamo crew. These guys from Partizan. Hey guys, fuck, who gets who now?
Stupid idiot! An observer in a white dress and heels. Observer? Hell, you prostitute. Slut? You'll suck everyone's cock tonight, got that? And if even one doesn't come, I'll personally stick this truncheon up your ass. You like it in the ass?
Hey, hands off the girls, you skull fucks.
Renat, there's kind of a lot of them. A whole lot. Toss them a grenade. Excellent. Now pop a few bullets in their guts. Not the legs, the bellies. Give all the bastards a long recovery.
But God, what's happening? It's war. He's unleashed civil war. They're shooting point blank. You can't shoot at your own people. I call on the whole world to intervene and stop this unprecedented violence.
They were beating women. I mean, girls, women. Fuck all knows. That grenade has thick, nasty smoke. It stings. They just grab everybody, threw them on the ground and beat them. They mauled them a lot worse than our soccer fanatics ever fucked anyone. They saw bare women's legs with jackboots, stomachs with truncheons, faces with fists. And we're just beating them. The girls are shouting and screaming, "Don't!" And they just keep going. Then our guys joined the chain and began.
It's all right. It's all right. It's okay. It passed in the past and it'll pass now. They'll roughhouse a while and then calm down. Teachers understand that. Everything will calm down. Mommy's home, child. Why do you look at me like that? My sweet girl, what's wrong?
Vasa gave me body armor. Why would I need that? This a game we're playing?
My nails are broken. White, red, white. My fingers too, maybe. I can't move it. It hurts. Everything hurts. And that metal in my mouth, that taste of metal. Strange. I'm sitting in this prison van. There's lots of us there, and I'm thinking how not to wrinkle my dress. It's an expensive dress. Sorry, I can't hear you. Who am I? Wait, did you call me a runt? I can't hear you.
We freed 6 girls. 6. True, we lost a couple guys. The bastards pulled them out of our chain and dragged them off. Men, Bate is with you. And that fat magazine works. They hit me as hard as they could. They could have shattered my bare arm to pieces, to say nothing of my head. But I gave one good shot of construction foam in the face, sent that fucker flying 6 feet. Then our guys showed up, 50 of them. Oh, gentlemen. They howled like they were from a Barcelona Real match. I went deaf. Did they ever unload on them? All we saw was the soles of their boots. I was able to give a good whack in the ass. I thought he'd go down, but no, he just ran faster. Although they didn't run very far, hid behind an armored personnel carrier. The boss ran tanks out on the streets. You should have seen those things, straight out of Mad Max.
I didn't have you in my 40s for you to start teaching me. You think something better will come? They'll close all the factories. You'll have to pay for everything. I have just 4 years to my pension, and I haven't been to the seashore in 15 years. You think we didn't live and don't want anyone else to? So be it.
Everybody, all of them, into prison vans. If you run out of space, stick them in the gymnasiums, take over the stadiums, give them something to remember for the rest of their lives. Authority here does not waver.
Dad, what is freedom?
Bring on the bulls, freedom will come. Hey, you, beasts, listen up. My name is Nikita Mitsukevich. Remember that name, because it's the name of someone who isn't afraid of you bastards. This is my country. Belarus is my country. This is my city. And this is me, Nikita Mitsukevich, apprentice metalworker. Fuck, I can't see a thing. There's blood everywhere. How many of you are there? Thousands? Where did you come from? On my land. Who are you defending? Who? That cockroach? He's a nobody. A zero. A cockroach. A fat cockroach. Squash him with your heel. It'll crunch and squirt. Be done with him. He sets us all against each other. Drowns the nation in blood and hate. Pain. We don't want him anymore. You hear me? Beasts. We don't want him anymore.
That one's bought and paid for, that's for sure. By the Yankees or the Poles. An organizer on drugs. Fuckhead. That's obvious. Just like the political official said. Bernat, give me another tab. Good stuff. Nice little high and you want to beat, thrash, and maul. I'm taking this guy down. They sent some excellent ammo, metallic covered bullets. They rip through intestines. Flip a grenade under his feet. All these bastards are filming us on their telephones.
Dad's had 2 planes already. He bought one from President Niyazov of Turkmenistan. He was Dad's friend. Some people poisoned him. Not too shabby inside. The internet is always good there. And the toilets are genuine gold. That one's at the national airport. The other, the smaller one, is at the air base. Sleepy came in out of breath, all in tears for some reason, eyes like headlights. She hugged me like she was my mother and said, I should gather my things and be ready at any minute. What do I need my things for? Are we going somewhere?
Someone's howling in my ear. You scum couldn't just sit home today. I'll put you all on the stake and send you to outer space so you could tell everyone out there about your stupid ass lives. Then the door of the prison van opens and something plops on the floor, just drops like a hunk of meat, and I feel something warm spurt on my knee. My dress too, my white dress. I bought this for Masha's wedding. Now there's a swath of black on it. And a grenade explodes, and I see it's not black, it's red. And the piece of meat is a person. Weird. Something is taped to his arm. I thought it was a rag, but it's a magazine, Rolling Stone. Only it's all shredded and drenched in blood, like if a dog ripped it with its fangs. He lifts his eyes to me, one eye, I can't see his other eye. And he says, I'm so sorry we didn't free you.
I'm so sorry we didn't free you.
Who's that barking in there? Shut your trap, fucker.
You stepped on his arm. He's hurt.
Of course it hurts. Hurts like fuck. Why else would we have shouted like that? Thought he was so smart, wrapped his arm so we wouldn't find his weak spot, his little fingers sticking out.
He's bleeding.
That's his eye socket bleeding. Brace yourself, kid. I'll shove my truncheon in it, or my cock, whatever you want. He's bleeding out.
What's missing in your life? Europe is full of barefoot beggars. Their economy crashed long ago. The only thing keeping Merkel propped up is Putin. But we are independent. And the only thing defending our independence is our president. Our president even scared off coronavirus. Everybody's sick, but not Belarusians. 3 of our high school teachers died in May and June. None from coronavirus, though. They all had ischemic heart disease. Although they buried them in closed caskets.
He's Belarusian, you're Belarusian. Why?
I said to this idiot, who's Belarusian? Renat, you Belarusian? Yeah, me too. I'll show you, bitch, not to interrupt your elders. Then it got really bizarre. I grabbed this chick in white and heels by her bangs and lifted her up to spit in her face and choke her out. And it was her. Fuck, I crapped my pants. Her, Masha's sister. Tiny little thing, smiling all the time, always cheerful. Men, let's play charades. Have you heard the new song by Spleen? Back in Grodno, this little cafe opened just like in Lvov. She's the bridesmaid at my wedding that didn't happen. It's her. Only her lip is cracked and she's covered in tears and snot. Fuck, what is she doing in this meat grinder?
This is scary. I'm scared.
In her eyes, frozen from fear.
Never in my life have I been so scared. His eyeballs are like 2 pieces of fiery coal filled with hate. There's nothing human about him. He stares. What's he staring at me for?
I'm so sorry we didn't free you.
Oh, thank God. Slaviansky Bazaar is on the tube. I can catch my breath. All my favorite singers are on. Stas Mikhailov, Galkin, Allegrova, Pavali. Everything's calming down then.
Thank you, Trump, for coronavirus, for masks. I'm in a mask. She's staring at me, but she doesn't recognize me, although we've been in company like 10 times at least. Just a little chick. Nice, slender neck, unlike her sister. Fragile, a little chick. If I squeeze her fingers, they'll crumble. Should I fuck her today? Tell the truth, she's just what I was looking for before the wedding. Slender, nice shapely legs, white skin, very tender. I'll admit it, when we went to the aqua park once and she sort of playfully humped her sister, I got a hard on. Masha thought it was for her. Why not? I've got a hard on now. So all the shit's ending. We won.
The TV will announce the results. Okay, let's see it now. TV reports everything just as our commission had it, to a T, 81%. We did him proud. We didn't let him down. I'm safe until my pension now, plus a bonus of 2 months' pay. Otherwise, you might as well be a Polish province. Oh, the president's going to speak. A sight for sore eyes.
Friends, I call on you not so much to defend me, although that too. First, I know you have much to do at home. You've got the harvest. I know school starts soon. But most important, I remember the 1990s. People everywhere standing in line, workers with tin dishes and teapots, begging for food, begging to feed their children.
I'm grateful to all the factory workers, students, and office workers who have gone on strike. Strike committees are forming all over the country.
Back then, I swore to help you and never to let street demonstrations mar the lives of Belarusians.
Where do we take them? Where do we take them all? Got it. Listen up, guys, new orders. Not taking anyone anywhere. Just fuck them all up. Anything that moves. The KGB and Financial Crimes Unit will take care of the leaders.
We destroyed everything God gave us, our huge, great empire, without which no problem in the world would have been solved. We received just a bloody chunk of this empire. What did those people want then? What did you want?
Internet, I want my internet. Dad, when will the internet come back? I'm hot in this armored jacket. My head itches in this helmet. Oh, telegram is up. Do you even know what's going on, Dad? It looks like a revolution out there. Nechta is saying Minsk is rebelling.
I came to the head of the Central Elections Committee to lodge a complaint. They let no one else come in, just me. She had a very large office. A leather sofa stands by the window, and there were two. I'd seen their faces many times on television. Either the head of the KGB or International Security Forces or the State Security Committee. Two of them. Be seated, Mrs. Tikhanovskaya. They offered me tea. And then the following conversation. So, there's an opinion that you won the first round of the elections. We fear for your life. And you have a 4-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. My, how do we miss them skipping out of Belarus in such a timely fashion? That means you won't be together to record a statement conceding that you lost the election. And you won't be able to put up your children in an orphanage. I was silent. They spoke, just them. Blood was pulsing through right here, the front of my ears. Thump, thump, thump. So you leave us very few choices, said one of them. And the other leaned over to me and said with a smile, so, Mrs. Tikhanovskaya, we will give you a piece of paper. There's a statement on it that you will read into a camera. Then you will publish the recording as if it were your own. After you've done that, we will deport you to Lithuania. Should you refuse, we will perform a unilateral orchiectomy on your husband, Mr. Sergei Tikhanovsky, whom we currently hold in prison. Do you know what that is? No? Well, let me explain. It's the surgical removal of the right testicle. We'll preserve it for you in a jar. I thought it was daytime, but it was suddenly dark. I said something into a camera. I don't remember what. That I'd lost, that everybody should go home, that I conceded. I spoke into the dark. Light returned only when I heard a quiet voice say, La bon jano, good morning, in Lithuanian.
A phone call woke me up, and I was having such a good dream. Right out of the movie Spring on River Street. I was back in the Soviet Union. Ice cream cost 28 kopecks, and sausage cost ₹1.30. Brezhnev was there. My sister in Borisov called. She said her son is missing. Nikita, he's a metal worker, a good kid, an athlete. A little wild, maybe. She called and said he had left home 2 days ago, and there's been no news since. She called all the hospitals, all the police stations. He was nowhere to be found. She couldn't stop crying. Svetlana's son disappeared too, and Vera Nikolaevna's. She's from school number 39. I said they had no business being out on the streets at a time like this. My daughter, Alina, she sits at home and reads books. She keeps out of trouble. Alina, where are you, sweetheart? Where are you, Alina?
Let's destroy the prison walls. If you want freedom, take it all. Prison walls will crumble, burn, and fall, and bury the old guard once and for all.
We sat the whole night, hunched over, kneeling on the floor in the school gym, our faces to the floor. Our hands were tied with construction ties. The guys were hanging on tethers and beaten every hour. I've never heard such howling. High squeals, almost passing into ultrasound. The girls were constantly threatened with rape. They wouldn't let us go to the toilet. Many just peed where they were, and a pool of blood and urine grew on the floor. It smelled really bad. But there was a child's drawing of a sun on the wall, and someone had written, Vasya loves Olya, and they drew a little heart. Vasya loves Olya. There's love even in all this horror.
He turned out to be tough. Took 2 rubber bullets in the gut, intestines inside out, and the guy sings like it's a holiday, as if it's his wedding day and not mine.
Let's destroy the prison walls. If you want freedom, take it all. Prison walls will crumble, burn, and fall, and bury the old guard once and for all.
Sleepy Larissa saw me looking at Telegram on my phone and reported it. The snitch. Now everybody's screaming and yelling. Why are you watching that? It's Nechta. Those pictures all intended for the West. Nobody's beating or torturing anyone. What do you mean, who's going to punish the special forces? Touch just one of them and the whole system will cave in. The system's a monolith. And then that old song and dance about people being ungrateful. I took you all in when you had nothing, wearing peasant boots, blah, blah, blah. I fed you, I led you into the world, and now you have iPhones. As though he invented the iPhone. Steve Jobs did that in America. And in Belarus, that iPhone's not much more than a brick in your hand. Because the internet's always being knocked offline and you can't watch anything. I thought he would hit me. I could see it in his eyes that he wanted to punch me in the nose. I cried.
Crushed his fingers, turned his back and ass purple with truncheons, beat his foot soles to a pulp, and I gave him a good poke between his cheeks with my club. I promised him I would. That's the way it is with us. Guy says he'll do it. He does it. So nobody else gets any bright ideas. He'll need the experience in prison anyway. We're helping him out. Educating the dick brains. They don't want to learn though. Fuck. Masha calling me again. 10 times today. Yes, Masha, honey, I'm at work. I said I'm at work. I can't talk.
Let's destroy the prison walls. If you want freedom, take it all. The prison walls will crumble, burn, and fall, and bury the old guard once and for all.
Thank you.
No, I thank you. You're pretty. That's a pretty dress. It was fucking amazing, really.
Shut the fuck up. Goddamn billing and cooing. Shit. Not talking to you, sweetie. No, honey, Masha. It's just some asshole listening to the TV too loud. It's okay, honey. Don't worry, we'll find her. Maybe your sister's visiting a friend or lost her phone. She's a bit dizzy, your sister.
There was something wrong about that stormtrooper who held me by the neck. He came up to me a couple of times and I just shut down. I thought he'd hit me or something worse. It was like I was sending signals to the universe. Sweet universe, protect me. He'd stand there and look like he wanted to say something. Then he'd turn and go off to start bludgeoning the guys.
Won't answer her phone. Damn. Takes after her father. He had to do everything his own way. She does too. Where's my damn Valium? You shouldn't do things your own way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do what they say. Clench your teeth, do what they say, and that's it. Well, all right. Let her run free a while. Teachers understand that.
He didn't even want me to be born. When he found out Mom was pregnant, he would beat her within an inch of her life. He was all black and blue. He demanded she get an abortion. He shouted, "Are you trying to earn the Belarusian throne with your cunt?" A nurse at the state medical hospital where my mother works told me that. My mom kept me, and now I'm with him, his heir. But where's my mother? Mom, get me out of here.
But should I bump her or not? Kind of awkward about Masha. What do I tell her? We took your little sister out for a game of hide the sausage. That hard on, man. Gotta change the subject.
He beat Nikita harder than the rest. The guy from the prison van, the hole in his stomach, he whispered me his name, Nikita, metal worker, Bate, very cool guy. He wasn't understanding much anymore, had no idea what was going on. I think he was in shock from the pain. We shouted that he needed an ambulance, but the policeman only laughed, and he sang. It was probably all he could do. Sang the same song over and over again, over and over again. Meanwhile, outside, new prison vans were coming up all the time.
Let's destroy the prison walls. If you want freedom, take it all. The prison walls will crumble, burn, and fall, and bury the old guard once and for all.
Mom always said family is sacred, though. Let somebody else do her. Idiot. She knew where I worked. Her sister told her, Roma works for the country. What are you provoking me for, bitch? There's cameras everywhere. Whatever. I'll let John take a walk somewhere else tonight. Look at all these new chicks they brought in. Hey, what are you shouting about? Who's your mother? Oh, the head of an election committee. Excellent. She stewed up a fine stew. Fucking screwed my wedding. My wedding night. You'll pay me back in full. What's the girl's name? Alina. Renat. Let's take Alina in for an interrogation. A good lively one.
I heard you law enforcement officials were rather severe, rather zealous on the streets. But was it you who started the violence? Did I start it? The authorities? They had to be stopped. These fascist thugs, insurgents, and their puppeteers.
Mother says he's sick in the head, that we should pity him. Why doesn't he pity anyone? He knew about those old women dying from coronavirus by the thousands, and he knows everything now. My friend Vasia says it's because of my father's fears. He's afraid, has been for a long time. He's very afraid of dying. Lately, he talks about death all the time, about being carried out feet first and right to the grave. I think he thinks he'll be murdered.
I never saw them again. Neither Nikita nor that creepy stormtrooper.
What if I never see him again? What if they do what they threatened to do? What if the KGB tortures him? What good is all of this if Syriosha is gone?
I think I figured it out. No, it can't be. No, impossible. Oh, I can't wrap my head around it. He's the father of Masha's future baby. She loves him so much. No, of course not. No, that can't be.
Fascist thugs, insurgents, and their puppeteers. The main thing is the puppeteer.
They took us to the prison at Akrestina, and when they opened the cell door, I didn't think such a thing was possible. In cells made for 4, there were already 23 girls, and they brought in 13 more of us. 36 people in 65 square feet. There was no air, no water, no food either. We all could only just stand. They put 2 alcoholics in with us. They stank to high heaven. At one point, the door opened and a guard splashed a bucket of dirty water over us and shut the door. 2 girls had panic attacks and vomited. I was next to them. Then they stuck in some food through a hole in the door, like a 1 loaf of bread for everyone. You know, the most amazing thing was there was enough for all of us, even a tiny piece left over. We gave it to the alcoholic. We had interrupted her calm life with our revolution.
What do you mean? You don't know? Then who does? Who's on call here? You or me? Call your superior. What do you mean he's busy? Do you know who I am? Yes, I taught all you dimwits for 37 years. I fixed your elections. I'm the one who faked 80% for the mustache man. I never feared anyone. Whatever you asked me to do, I faked. And now you can't find my daughter? What the hell did I do all that for? So you could be rude to me? I'll complain to the president. Hello? Hello? My daughter. My sweet daughter. Forgive your mother. Forgive me.
Belarusians, you are unbelievable.
If you do win your first president, know that that's the beginning of your end.
Belarus will run out of champagne when he goes.
NATO will send soldiers. NATO tanks will roll down our streets.
You say they're sending in 2 more battalions from Moscow? How about we double up and attack Ukraine too, to the music of Wagner?
They want to put bast shoes on us and crack the whip over you.
Bring on the balls. Payback will come.
Starting Monday, any striking factory, lock the gates. Don't worry, we'll bring in people from Ukraine and Kyrgyzia. And that damn theater, fire them all. Villages don't have theaters, cities don't need them.
Dad, they've come really close this time.
Grab your machine gun and get in the helicopter. We'll come back when they leave.
There's a lot of them, a whole lot. They're shouting, freedom, freedom, freedom. Dad, you still didn't tell me what freedom means.
So how much do they pay you in Russia, Renat? I used to think I'd settle down there. It's calm, stable. None of that Western gay ropa shit. It has casinos. The broads are obliging. Now I get this feeling they're just not gonna stop. I can feel it in my bones. Haven't had a hard-on for days. We've been fucking with these people for a month and they just don't stop. At some point, they're gonna start pulling off our masks.
No need to take off your mask. I know who you are.
Dad, pack my things. I've got my machine gun. Who do we shoot?
Rats, prostitutes, drug addicts, sheep, cannon fodder. You'll be on your knees yet begging me to come back. How could you trade me for that? That dumb cluck? That housewife? A woman? That pathetic thing? If that's how it is, I'll die, but I still won't go. And if I do go, I'll take as much and as many with me as I can. You don't want Lukashenko? You'll get Putin.
The wedding is off.
What will a person do for love and for hate?
It's easy, kid. You aim it at a person, a traitor, any traitor. You give him a good look, and you squeeze the trigger. Pop. The traitor's gone. It's easy, son. I learned to do it. You can too.
I don't want your pension. And I don't want your job. Take back your certificates and your stability and your flower gardens. Take it all back. Just give me my daughter, Alina. She has a weak heart. She has asthma. Give her back. And my nephew, Nikita. My sister has hypertension. I won't survive if she... Give them back. Give back our children.
Belarusians, I thank you for the choice you made. You're unbelievable.
Well, Renat, I can feel it in my bones. When we go to back Putin, we won't fuck that one up.
When absolutely everything hurts, seems like nothing hurts. Feeling wasn't a blood seeping out of a wound. It just seeped out everywhere. Your skin bleeds as if you were sweating. Because battles like this happen once every 100 years. I mean, the battle between good and evil. In the sense that everything is totally clear. I understood immediately that my life was over. And I understood instantly they would cover up my murder. They'd cremate me in a crematorium, list me as missing, or bury me in a forest, or hang me as if I committed suicide. Fuck them, though. It won't help. Belarusians are a unique people. They'll put up with stuff forever, for decades, sometimes a whole life. And then, snap, their patience pops. Belarusians have been insulted. And you can't defeat that kind of insult. Just like you can't defeat Bate.
After all those nights in the prison van, the gym, and the prison, my dress looked nothing like what I bought for the price of 2 stipends. It's dirty and tattered, white, red, white rag. The bloodstain has darkened and it's covered by brown spots of vomit. Still, it's the most fabulous dress in the world. I wouldn't exchange it for anything. Here we are all standing in this cramped cell, and what marvelous people there are around me. They're all so polite and smart. Microbiologists, teachers, musicians, actors, students. The woman who crawled into the prison van after her son and husband. People snatched off the streets all these days. Priests, journalists, students, miners and workers, attorneys and doctors. These are the best people on earth. Belarusians. There is a new, true Belarus here in this cell, and we all feel the love. You can't defeat love. Isn't that so, universe?
Hello, my name is Svetlana. I'm a housewife, the mother of 2 children. I am the president-elect of Belarus. What are you willing to do for love?
И он был натхнен и молодый, их незлечено было. И он на площади у городы с песней, что близко светло. И запаливали свечки ему, плыл понад площадью дым. И он спевал, зруйнуем турму, яны спевали за им. Разбурим турмы, муры, бранишь свободы до горы, а морковка рухне, 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 и поховая свет старый. Разбурим турмы, муры, бранишь свободы до горы, а морковка рухне, 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 и поховая свет старый. Словно памяти спел, если по улицах так, что кровь кипел и гнев кипел, и сердце стукали так. Били 100 000 колониям рыб, ворогов бил наповал, и шли домой во всем свете старым, а я все правду спевал. Разбури, турмы, муры, бранишь свободы до горы, а морковка рухне, 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 и поховай след старый. Разбури, турмы, муры, бранишь свободы до горы, а морковка рухне, 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 и поховай след старый. По всей Беларуси поднялся народ, свободу свою отстоять. Афиною метою знявся наш дух, темру світлом розганять. Брати, офіцери, ми один народ, ми разом живем на землі. Зробите сумленный выбор свой, не хочем мы этой войны. Прочнитесь, вы на правды идем, и гнемся до счастья своего. І мара народа в країні життя, просто как добре було. Моцних рук от невстомлених рук, роди ідуть, ідуть. Ми белоруси, ми з миром ідем, у світлий сонячний путь. Ради свободы додари, рука рухне, 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 и подавай свет старый. Разбуры, туры, муры, ради свободы додари, мой кулка рухне, 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 и подавай свет старый. Разбуры, туры, муры, ради свободы додари, а мой кулка рухне, 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 и подавай свет старый. Разбуры, туры, муры, ради свободы додари, а мой кулка рухне, 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 и подавай свет старый. Разбуры, туры, муры, ради свободы додари, а мой кулка рухне, 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 и подавай свет старый. Рухне, рухне, и подавай свет старый.
Okay, thank you for staying with us, those of you who are still with us. And hi, John. Thank you for joining us.
That was great, guys. That was absolutely fabulous. Молодцы, молодцы.
Let's see, Andrei, we'll wait for Andrei, but I'll, in the meantime, tell the audience that you can type the questions on YouTube.
Hi, John. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, I can hear myself speaking with a slight delay. So the questions you can type up in the YouTube. Julia Dossi, my colleague, hi Julia, will moderate that discussion for us. I have too many things going on my screen, so I don't think I could handle that. But as we wait for Andrei, John, do you want to talk a little bit about the...
I'm here as well.
I don't see you.
I try to... now it's...
Hello, welcome. The weather is very appropriate for the play here in Cambridge.
Really?
Yeah, a thunderstorm, a real thunderstorm took place while we were reading. So.
Oh, very cool.
So let me just turn it over to you both if you want to just talk about the project, about the play, how it came together, what motivated it or inspired it.
Andrei, I think you should start, Andrei.
Yeah,
you are the cook. You're the person that stirred this pot. So it's you go ahead and start it off.
Well, for 18 years in playwriting, I never thought that I will write the play like this, because usually I focused on more entertaining content. But because such compelling events happened in my country, in Belarus, and I was in the middle of this event, I cannot stand by like a playwright, like a citizen, like a person, and I decided to write my fresh feelings, and I decided to write a fresh verbatim information which came to me, a lot of information about what happened in that first terrible nights after 9th of August, after the day of elections. And I decided to took the people as a personage who really was involved and who really had impact on what's going on in Belarus, still going on in Belarus. So all that personage has real prototypes. Some of them, yes, well known in the world now, like Lukashenko or Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, president-elect. Some of them more known inside Belarus because of some events. But I should say, this play was it was very important to write this play right in events. It shouldn't be cold view. It should be the hot view of me as a playwright. So I started this play on 20 or 21st of August, just let's say 2.5 weeks after elections, and finished it on the 12th of September. And when it was finished, I just sent it to John without any idea, really without any idea, just because Oksana is my old friend, and we met hundreds of years ago and made something together in Kupalovsky theater, and you know, the theater which now is a little bit cancelled, but still alive. And then some miracle happens, because I never thought that solidarity of people, not only friends, but of course, first of all, of friends, could be so wide and so fast, incredibly fast. And how events going on, John will tell you now. After 12th of September.
Yeah, it was. I'll tell the story briefly. It's a very good story, actually. It's a wonderful story.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Andrei sent me the play. He didn't tell me that he was going to send me a play. I'd been following him on Facebook, been liking things and commenting, and we may have exchanged a couple of letters about things. And then all of a sudden, you know, ding, ding, and I've got a message from Andrei Kureichik in my mail, and I look, and he says, here's a play I just wrote. I just finished this. He said, do you think you could maybe arrange to have a couple of readings in the West? He said, it might be a really good idea. And I thought, wow, that is a very good idea. And I did not read the play yet. I just sent out letters to 6 very good friends of mine, people in the theater, directors and actors. And in 10 minutes, I got back 6 yeses. We want to do it. And I thought, whoa, that doesn't happen. I've been working in this field for 35 years, and American theaters take decades to respond. American theaters are very, 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 very slow. In fact, they're so slow that they never do anything. It's been one of my biggest complaints of my entire life is American theaters are so damn slow. And here, in 10 minutes, all 6 of the people that I wrote to all responded and said, we want to do it. And I said, whoa, okay, well then I've got to get out a translation quick. And so I sat down and I started translating, and I did a translation like I've never done in my life. I've translated almost 100 plays from Russian. I've never done a translation the way I did this one. I just hammered it out in 3 days. And, you know, all of my choices were all of my first choices. There were half of them were bad. Maybe 3/4 of them were bad. It was a sloppy, you know, almost literal, corny, bad translation that I sent out to those first people. But I had to get something out there so that they could start working. And I knew that over the course of the readings, you know, people would make comments and things would happen. And of course, Zhenya, who is my goddess, she agreed to take in the script and help me because of there's a good deal of Belarusian, of course, in the text, as you guys all know. And Zhenya really helped me out. Zhenya, I'm forever indebted to you, and this translation is forever indebted to you for your help.
Zhenya, thank you very much. Yes.
Yes. And I just want to say then that within, I'm not going to go on much longer, but I want to say that from 6 theaters in a day or so, it went to 10 or 12. And then it jumped to 20, and I thought, oh my God, 20. And there was like 6 countries. There was already Scotland and Ireland and the UK. I mean, 6 countries, half of them being Great Britain, but even so. And then it just took on a life of its own. And we now have 16 countries and 57 events. And there are still several more who we hope are going to be joining us soon. It's pretty astonishing. And I'll say, the last thing I'll say before I let you guys jump in, there's a couple of reasons for it. First of all, this revolution in Belarus is a terrible and beautiful thing. And as a topic, it is extremely attractive. It's a beautiful and terrible topic. And that is grabbing people's attention. The other thing is that Andrei Kureichik wrote a brilliant play. It is a brilliant play. This is a play which will go into history as one of the great Slavic plays. It will go down as a national treasure in Belarus. I guarantee that. I can just, that's it. There's no question. It's already happened, in fact. And the brilliance of this play, as you all know, because you just read it and you've been reading it and working on it, is the way he just takes us in so lightly, doesn't help us out at all, doesn't tell us really who we're listening to, who's talking. We don't understand that they're connected. And as the waves of the place go on, all of a sudden the people start connecting and connecting and connecting until you get this everybody is connected in the end. And he did that so easily, so beautifully. This play will last for a very long time. So that's the main reason, of course, why this has become such an event, is because Andrei turned out a play that is worth it.
Yeah, it really is. We were so proud. I'm very glad that we could participate in this effort. I think we do have some questions from the audience, so I'll let Julia read.
Yes, so we have some thanks. Someone is watching from Minsk, which is great, good to know, despite the time difference. Thank you for watching. Yeah, so we have a question from Rachel. She is asking the actors, this play contains much difficult, violent content. What kinds of conversations did you have with each other or with family members while working on this?
I can say I found it very difficult to get through on my first read. Of course, I read it in Russian, and that was hard. I don't know that we had many conversations because our reading was not more rehearsed than a revolution is. So we kind of just put it together and found time for it. But I do wonder how some of the actors, especially maybe Jordi as Avian, you can talk about managing that, both the language and the violence that it refers to, describes.
Yeah, it's a scary role. I mean, it would be very different to act it in person with, Rachel and Matt, the primary victims of my character's violence. If we were in person together, that would be a really different dynamic. But it helps that, it helps to get into the spirit of the character, that you're not facing each other in that way. And I think also that we know each other, I don't know, makes it feel low stakes in a certain way. I don't know. Any other thoughts on that?
Anybody else? I can say, I think Julia and I had a conversation, or I remember that we were talking about the languages we were trying to make the reading happen. And I remember as we were sort of discussing it, thinking about, there's something unseemly or uncomfortable or difficult about reading it or hearing it. But the truth is that the reality the reality behind this play is so much more, terrible and horrible, and it should make us uncomfortable. So we definitely, I don't think we ever considered cleaning it up or making a PG version, because it's impossible. And I think, as I am thinking, this is a piece of art that almost blurs the boundary between art and life, or fact and fiction. In some sense, the play wrote itself. The history wrote the play and the people. And I forgot where I was going with that.
But we definitely had a conversation in the beginning when we all got together, found out who was interested from our department, interested at time, etc., and talked about what everyone was comfortable with too. Rachel, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I'm one of the victims, and in the first reading we did, where we did all the staging for the Zoom, I was like, whoa, this is actually like a lot worse than I was expecting. But like Jordy said, we know each other, so it felt like it wasn't too bad. But I sort of thought about it in like the way that my character views the violence, as like, this is something that we shouldn't accept, and we should think of as being something that's like almost absurd, and that the violence in it makes the strength of the people and what they're doing that much more significant. So I really hung on to that part of my character for that.
Yeah, thanks everyone. We have another question for the actors from Natasha, who's watching from Minsk. Did you have a choice whether to play a good guy or a bad guy, and which one was easier? So it's a good continuation of what we were just talking about.
Who's the good guy here among the male characters? Maybe
I feel like I'm the good guy. I originally wanted to play Zhenya's character, the youth, just because I thought he was snotty and it would be fun to play that character. I wasn't worried about playing someone despicable. I didn't think people would think that this reflected my own political views on the situation. I think we've done many different theatrical performances in the Slavic Department of varying levels of contemporary relevance. So I think for me that I don't know. It sounds dark to say this was an enjoyable thing to do with people I care about, but it was. So I wasn't worried about taking on a kind of negative role, because it's enjoyable to act with my friends for something that I think was interesting. It was an interesting way for me to kind of interface with the event and the news, and to think about other people watching this, what they were kind of taking from that. I don't know. So I think it was a cool situation for us to kind of reflect on those things. But yeah, I wasn't too worried about. I guess I got a good guy character anyways, but I was almost jealous of Jordy's terrible character, because he has some harsh lines in there, and I didn't want to sing, but I'll do it for Belarus.
I'll also say, as another one of the bad guy characters, sort of, I've played a lot of evil characters in various things. So from that perspective of like trying to find, sort of think about how the character views themselves, and like, I was very fine with it. And I think we kind of collaboratively decided who got the characters, because we sort of decided who felt comfortable and who felt like a good fit, and who felt, sort of able to think about and like perform that person.
And I felt that with Lukashenko, so soon after the election, I spent a lot of the summer sitting on Nechta and a lot of the in Telegram and Instagram and looking what people were posting from the ground. And I had a similar feeling to when I took some friends to see Death of Stalin when that movie came out a couple of years ago, where there's this weird position where you want to parody dictators, right, who are in some ways parodic by nature, but it requires the audience to understand what the context is. Because I remember the American friends who I brought to see Death of Stalin were like, "Oh, that was really funny," and I was like, "Oh, there's like a lot of darkness here." And for something like this, I feel like it's great that the play was written by someone who experienced this firsthand, and Zhenya, obviously, coming from the culture, also understands this so well. So I think that was really helpful and made me less worried that the bad guys would be misconstrued as like, oh, we don't really know the characters we're playing. Because I think all of us in some way were following the news, and Zhenya caught us up as well on recent developments.
Thanks, guys. We have a question for Andrei next, from our very own Daria. First, thank you for a brilliant play. She says, my question is about the Amon character and the real Amon people. Do they, Amon, for people who don't speak Russian, are the riot police? How do they rationalize their violence?
Well, actually, this character as well, he's real. I found a guy who started in the special forces of Ukraine and worked for former President Yanukovych in the special force which called Berkut. Why he has this like name, bird's name. And then after Maidan in Ukraine, some of them were put in jail because they shot a lot of people. Some of them went to Russia, and few of them, maybe I don't know the real quantity, but few of them were identified in Belarus, in Amon. Amon is a kind of special forces. Unfortunately, Lukashenko used it for violence to protesters. In these elections, they made unprecedented violence to the people on the streets. What they did, it just cannot be understood by logics. Maybe because they have this order to stop revolution in the first day or in the first 2 days. They put all the cruelty they have to stop people from protesting. And we have more than 7,000 people who were put in jail in the first 2 days. It's a very huge number for Belarus, which is a very small country with 9 million of total population. And almost all of them said that they were very cruel, had very cruel, that Amon beat them and made a lot of terrible stuff. Now the United Nations got more than 700 how you call it, заявления, да? 700 statements, yes, statements from Belarusians about tortures and traumas, very dangerous traumas, and now all of them in the United Nations. So I have the theory that Lukashenko tried to stop it very like fast. It was impossible because people saw that he lost election. It was obvious, absolutely obvious for people. All the numbers were obvious because those protocols that were on the doors of commissions, they gave already results which that Svetlana Tikhanovskaya wins in many districts, that it's not possible that she has only 10%. If she wins, for example, in my district, she had 72% in where I live. Of course, when they understand that truth is coming, they just switched off internet in all country, and country become a medieval country when you not only cannot send email, but you cannot use your credit card or anything. Just totally, it was the internet was switched off totally. And of course, they first of all they destroyed all these protocols, and they vanished all the bulletins in the first day. So, and people understand that, okay, we know that you just hiding the truth, and we want this truth. And now people really want a new election. Oman keep working, unfortunately. Every peaceful manifestation has problems with Oman, who is taking people, sometimes very cruelly. They all never say their names, never ever. They all hide their faces. They have a special uniform without any signs. So it looks like really a banda, you know, like bandits. And yes, they are still very hard to people.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really scary. We have another question, I think for both Andrei and John, I would say, because the question is, was the play written originally in Russian or Belarusian or both? The act of writing speaking Belarusian is quite political in Belarus, so I was wondering how Andrei decided what language to write in, and then I would extend this also to John, how you decided to translate it, what decisions you had to make.
No, actually, yeah, I first say it's in Russian. It's in Russian because my prototypes, they speak mostly Russian, but with some dialects, like some rural dialect, our president, his own dialect. So, but it originally in Russian.
And I made no attempt to try to show a mix of languages in the translation, because if I tried to do that in English, it would have taken us down just a horrendous, terrible, rocky road. You can imagine if I tried, okay, what language? Okay, Russian and Belarusian. Okay, English and, you know, a lot of Spanish-speaking people in the United States. So I'm going to play with Spanish? No. You know, I mean, there's nothing that can be done in English that can approximate the closeness of Russian and Belarusian. And actually, Andrei and I briefly discussed this at one point, and he told me, he said, don't worry about the words themselves. He said, translate what the play is about. And that's what I did. There just was no, there's no way to do with language in this play what was done in the original. No way. So yeah, that's how that was done. I have a question for Andrei, because we have been meeting here like fugitives in the night. We're both in Europe, and so it's what is it now? It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning. We meet quite frequently at 2 o'clock in the morning on these Zoom things, and I'm just wondering, Andrei, where are you now?
Well, I'm still in Ukraine, because tomorrow I'm going to Odessa, where will be my reading. It's a very important city of Ukraine and very important theater, Odessa Cultural Center. So I hope it will be very good reading, because it's good actors and good promotion and everything. So I'm still in Ukraine. I have several propositions to visit readings, but the problem with quarantines. For example, I have a proposition from Sweden, from Royal Theatre of Sweden, but they cannot guarantee that I'll pass border control because of regulations, COVID regulations. I have reading on 13th in one of the best theaters of Poland in Warsaw, but I need 10 days of quarantine to see my play. And the same with Lithuania, 10 days. I'm trying to make my route, but you know, everything changing every day.
Yeah.
If we have time, we have one more question, and then that should take us nicely to 7. So someone, Irina, is asking why, and this is for Andrei and John, I think, what do you think theatrical language, so we talked about how this exploded so quickly, why is theatrical language so powerful in telling stories of violent revolutions?
Because it's not only story of events, it's story of emotions. To understand revolution, you should understand the emotions of people who are involved from all the sides, from all sides. Dramaturgy, real playwriting, is working with the emotions of your heroes and your own emotions, I think, as a playwright. Theater is the best variant, actually, to involve audiences in this situation, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of people read the news on websites or see some TV, but you never understand what's going on really if you don't understand what emotionally happens with the country. This play is about this.
Yeah, Andrei answered the question very well. I would only add that once again, Andrei did such a beautiful job of bringing out all 7 characters. The 7 characters are very, very distinct. They're very unique. We understand all of them to the extent that we can understand people. That's, of course, is another reason why this play is getting such a response. And before we all go, I don't know if the rest of you guys know that, but I once went through the halls that you guys walk through now. I did my PhD at Harvard too, back 100 years.
Hello from Barker. I'm in Barker Center now, so
I was there actually 200 years ago. Andrei said that he and I met 100 years ago, which is about right, and I was at Harvard 200 years ago. So.
I want to, go ahead, Julian.
Stephanie Sandler, I think, sent us, oh no, she sent us her congratulations, not a question. Sorry, go.
Okay. She also sent a question in the second email.
Oh, I wasn't.
Which I can ask to John since I have it in front of me. It's she's asking whether any full theatrical staging in English is expected. I guess the question being especially in North America or in the States.
Yes, there will be productions. I know of at least 3 theaters that are discussing the possibility right now. They want to do it. One of them is in yours, more or less in your city, Arlequin Players in Boston. Mm-hmm. They are planning to do it. The Wilma Theater in Philadelphia is planning to do it. And there's another one that I skipped my mind right now. And there will be more, I'm sure. But as you all know, with Corona, I mean, you know, if people can't open their theaters up, then they can't produce it. And so when this will happen is unclear. But at some point, you know, at some point it will happen. At some point we will come back to some sort of normalcy in the way we live. Yeah, really. And so productions will happen then. So the question is not if, but when. You know, it may be in 3 months, it may be in 6, it may be in a year and a half. I can't answer that question now, but the basic answer is yes, there will be productions in the US.
Actually, there are two more questions that are kind of connected that I think we could maybe close on. So someone is asking, how can we best spread awareness of what's happening in Belarus, in America or in the West? And someone asks, where can we get reliable information about the events in Belarus? So connected.
Oh, it's not easy because Lukashenko now sent off all the international journalists, and he stopped accreditation of all international journalists in Belarus. He wants a country to be closed and less information passed abroad. But I think that most of international agencies, they give a lot of information to websites, newspapers. If you are Belarusian or Russian and you have this language, you can use Telegram channels, which Belarus people usually use for information. There are a lot of them, but the most popular is Nechta, which is more than 2 million people subscribed. It's the biggest Telegram informational channel in the world now. We use Telegram because it's more difficult for Lukashenko to switch it off. He can switch off any informational site, website, but he cannot switch off Messenger, Telegram. So we use it. But yes, I should say that this is a problem. Hopefully we will give more information abroad as we can. Yeah.
And I will add briefly that if you have Russian, Nastoящее Время, which is a TV station that's broadcasting out of Prague, Mikhail Khodorkovsky is behind that. They're really covering it extremely well. That's if you have Russian, you can get that on the internet. If somebody who's listening in or you're talking to somebody that doesn't have Russian, Al Jazeera is very good. Al Jazeera, I will tell you, is very good for any news. In the United States, Al Jazeera has a bad reputation. I will tell you that Al Jazeera is one of the best news organizations on the planet. They cover it quite well. Deutsche Welle covers it quite well. Deutsche Welle, English language. Again, I'm thinking for people that you're talking to maybe that don't have Russian that want to know more. Deutsche Welle does a pretty good job of covering it too.
Yeah. Thank you. On that note, I think we'll end. I would like to say that there are some ways in which you can help the Belarusians who need help, and we have some links where you can make donations, whether it's supporting journalism, supporting political prisoners, or people who lost their jobs due to their political activity or political opinion. And there are also some non-monetary ways to help Belarusians. It's the old-fashioned way, of writing a letter to your senator and just raising, but also I think maybe the most important thing that we can all do is just remember, know that Belarus exists. At least this revolution put us on a map, I guess. Know that we exist and support us, talk about it, mention it, tell people to look up some of these performances, maybe. I think that's the best thing. I think it's important for the people in Belarus to know that they are not invisible. Rajina Mort, a great Belarusian poet, talks a lot about how the fate of being a Belarusian is kind of, you're born into invisibility. You're certainly invisible to your own government, to your own state. So help us not be invisible. And thank you for lending us your ears and eyes and hearts and minds tonight in this amateurish production. Thank you again, Andrei and John, for the opportunity to be part of this. Thank you. Жыве Беларусь.
You did great. Super.
Жыве.